Have election of officers. Any nominations for the chair of the Darien TV79 Advisory Committee? We'll let Trevor do it.
I would nominate Mike Wheeler.
Second it.
All in favor?
Aye.
We need election of a clerk. I nominate Dennis Cummings.
I second that.
All in favor?
Aye.
There's no one else we have to vote, we have to elect, right?
No.
Um,
Program director is kind of an appointed position.
and approval of the minutes, they were all sent out. Did anyone have any comments? If not, the minutes are approved. I forwarded you all the TV79 annual report to the Board of Selectmen that we had to get in by the end of December. And then they could then reappoint us all to the TV79 Advisory Board. And thanks for Jim for helping on that. We're starting on our goals and working on getting timestamps on adding the Great Island Board of Selectmen and the OPC meetings for 2024. Programming, Jim.
Okay, much to discuss. First of all, I'll get a nice tight shot of this if you can, Trevor. Carrie designed this one-page flyer describing TV79, beautifully, I might add, and put it in a rack underneath the monitor as you enter town hall. I mean, it's the nicest promo when you walk into town hall and you can see TV79 and there is information right underneath it, all about just a basic one-pager with a QR code that goes straight to the website, I think, right?
Yes.
Yeah. And I see people, picking them up and carrying them home. I think it's a great piece of promotion, and I thank you so much for doing that and putting in that effort.
Yeah, the monitor looks great as you walk in.
It does, yeah. We just received our final round 3 equipment grant and videographer grant from Area 9 Cable Council. I bought some more table mics, some SD cards, headphones, and we bought a couple of microphones for the portable cameras that will mount on their tops for if we're going out and doing like a school shoot or something like that, a tour. So viewership is strong. In the report that I delivered 11 hours ago to the Board of Selectmen, viewership is very strong. The most popular shows we have are anything dealing with Great Island, and the First Selectman's new explainer videos. The first one he did, I met with him after his election, and he told me what it is that he had a vision to do in terms of short, to the point videos that would be distributed on social media. And I said, if they're any good, we'll run them on TV79. But I think they should be your production, not necessarily ours. So he is working with Marley Hayes, who is the town's half-time public relations person out of the First Selectman's office. And I have loaned her a camera from TV79, of which we have many, and showed her how to use it, and she's going to get a tripod and an external microphone, and she's going to shoot videos, and I recommended a video editing software program for her that I use called Wondershare, and she's kind of learning how to use that. But I think the thought is that we're going to see these on a regular basis. The first one received, I think, well over 500 views because it was of the moment. I mean, he was basically explaining that your taxes are not going up, even though that letter you got in the mail that said the value of your home has gone up 40%, your taxes won't be going up 40%. So everybody was interested in that. I believe, without betraying any confidence, I believe the next one he's going to do is about pickleball. So that could be similarly interesting.
That could be one of the new hot meetings, is the pickleball subcommittee.
The pickleball subcommittee, yes. We'll talk about that offline at some point. So I think those shows are doing very well. We also excerpted, I think at Mike's recommendation, what we're now calling Police Blotter, which mimics what I told the Board of Selectmen this morning was the favorite thing you always read in the newspaper when we had two town newspapers. You go straight to the Police Blotter. Let's see who got arrested. Is my child on the list in there anywhere? So this is actually a piece that comes out of the police commission meetings where they literally recount all the crimes and all the statistics of law enforcement since the previous meeting, which could have been 3 or 4 weeks ago. And it's a very interesting litany of horrors involving any number of cars that were left unlocked with the keys in them. And lo and behold, they're very surprised that they had their wallet also in the car stolen, etc. So it's like Crime Stopper's notebook.
But it's only 2.5 minutes, and it's a pretty it's a pretty good summary of
That's great.
numerically it's every reported crime.
Yep.
But they're ironically, the reason we talked about it was crime news was not really getting much coverage in the Darien Times or on the online services.
Yeah.
You may have noticed it's increased significantly since we started doing Police Blotter.
Not the crime, the
Not the
reporting
crime,
of
the
it.
reporting
Yeah.
of it.
Yeah, right.
That has increased since we started this Police Blotter. Suddenly stories are appearing in the paper or online that I don't remember seeing before.
Well, we also got on the mailing and distribution list, the police department used to sit down every week with the local reporters. And they would verbally recount everything that had happened in the last week. And they'd answer questions, et cetera, et cetera. Well, they don't do that anymore. There are no local reporters. So what they do is they issue a press release with mugshots. So I now get that. I distribute it to Mike. Mike crunches the numbers and does a report for the Darien Men's Association every Wednesday, fresh off the presses. We're still trying to figure out how we might use that on TV79, So I think the Police Blotter is probably, best way of doing it.
You want to talk about staffing?
Yeah, I'm gonna get to that. I just wanted to mention the auditorium AV situation. Was queried for the second quarterly meeting by Jay-Z. So this has come up for 3 months now. The project to redo the auditorium PA system is approved. It has been funded with ARPA money. They had a great consultant who helped put together the RFP and is now going to babysit the project from with the one reasonably priced bidder who answered the RFP.
And the PO's been issued. I understand supply chain delays in getting the equipment that's necessary.
That's a perfectly logical excuse for not getting things done, but we've got to get that project done. Not only first of all, there's a whole component of TV79. We get our own audio feed from every one of the microphones. We can mix it differently than they're mixing it for the house PA. We still keep our own cameras. We get to see their cameras, we get to see their feed of anything they're putting up on the screen. It's going to be very good for us from that point of view. But more importantly, for the people in the room, I mean, we've gone through a couple of RTM meetings where audio became a very important issue and there were a lot of complaints.
Including last night.
And I basically I go, I told you so! Make it work! Let's get on with this project because I know we're going to be in the middle of a budget meeting or something with a really important vote coming down and the PA is just going to poof. And it should be installed ASAP. Staffing, this is Trevor, who is one of our 10 part-time videographer staffers. He is a student from NCC, which is again yielding us just incredibly motivated, talented staffers to work with us. A weekly program guide seems to have had an uptick in opens at least. We're still around the 1,200 level of opt-in recipients and an open rate of 60%, which remains steady, which says to me people are looking at it. I think they're looking at it, and this is kind of a philosophical thought that I've had recently. I put a lot of work into the program rotation on TV79. I drop in promos, I drop in PSAs. I don't know anybody that's watching the feed on TV79. So more importantly, the role that we play as librarians of all the archival material and making that accessible through the website and as searchable as possible. I mean, I know those are solid metrics when I look at the reports on Vimeo. So I know how many people are looking at any particular meeting. And it's interesting to see, after the program guide comes out, more people watching certain meetings because there was an embedded link, or they looked at the agenda, or they heard something else about it. So the program guide actually, I think, leads to more viewership. I don't know how many people, I was watching last night, the live feed that we were doing of the Board of Selectmen meeting. There were 5 people watching on YouTube. Well, that's not a bad number for,
But that's 4 more than a year ago.
yeah. And we also are on Twitter. I don't know what the metrics are, how many people watch us on Twitter. But we're on everything except your microwave oven. And kudos to Mike for getting us on all those different platforms. Let the marketplace
But I think
decide
the
which one
linear, of
works.
those who enjoy linear television, and there's still 50% still have traditional linear television, the programming that you've added, that we don't have the rights to put on demand, there's available other places on the line,
Yeah.
but the Darien Men's Association, the Greenwich Men's Association,
Yeah.
the Darien Library
Right.
programming,
Yeah.
is really good stuff.
I mean, it's good, interesting local public affairs.
Well, but if
Yeah.
they're the speakers
The speakers are quite good.
The 3 have a really top
Yeah.
flight,
Yep, yep.
and
Well, I'm still struggling with the library, the Darien Library, which has not posted anything new on their darienlibrary.tv site on YouTube for 2 or 3 months now. And they have a lot of interesting people coming in. They've got Floyd Abrams coming in tomorrow night, and I hope they're taping it. They tell me that some of the people that are doing virtual talks don't want to be taped because this is their bread and butter. This is how they market themselves to other libraries around the state. I got it, I understand that. But anything that's happening in the community room there, I would hope was going to be recorded. We are recording at the invitation of the League of Women Voters of Darien, the legislative update precursor meeting of our state reps and state senators. That's at the library tomorrow night. And I asked them for permission because I saw the notification of the meeting. This particular meeting is usually held by the league at someone's private house. And they're not crazy about it. We've never been invited to have TV79 down there. This I saw was somewhat more publicly posted, so I asked Ann Reed, I think it's Ann Reed, who's the chair of the League of the Voters, can we cover it? And they were kind of like, well, let me check, I'll see. And I said, well, I need your permission, I need the library's permission, if they're not recording it themselves. And I probably want you to make sure that the guest speaker politicians are also comfortable.
they just have to know about it, they don't have to be comfortable.
Yes,
They're-
that's right.
They're public figures speaking in a public location to a public audience.
At a private event though, which makes it kind of, weird. Anyhow, I got no pushback whatsoever. Sure, come on down. So we're doing that. We're also doing Congressman Himes, who is speaking at the DCA.
Yeah, are they putting that under the umbrella of their lecture series?
I think so, but who knows what he's gonna take. He'll just talk about whatever he wants to
No,
talk
I know,
about.
but
That's fine.
the schedule, he was not on the original.
Right.
He was not on the original schedule, and they're making it available free. You don't have to pay to go
Yeah, you
like
can't-
the regular
You
series.
can't charge to see the congressman.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's a series on technology and society.
Yeah, there was a full crowd there. There were 125 people there today. I had to go do a technical check, and there were 125 people there. It was very well.
Oh, that was another talk in the series?
They did it on Tuesday rather than Thursday.
Oh, okay.
We had a technical issue last week, and so we were going to check stuff. And they had a big crowd.
So we also did a few remotes recently. We did the Christmas fair that was held at Holly Pond, and that was just beautiful. I mean, it was
Fun event.
little sailboats out on the pond with candles burning in them. It was everything except angelic choirs performing in the background. And they had a huge crowd. Parks and Recs estimated they had 1,000 people there.
Yeah, we went. Oh, three of my grandchildren.
It was busy, and that, Pam Geary, God bless her, who is now retired as Parks and Rec director here and moved back up to a job in the town where she lives, way up there in the east.
She's in Guilford.
Guilford.
Yeah.
She introduced that in any number of large events at the beaches, those kind of things. That's nice, and I think those are now going to become kind of institutionalized gathering points, because there are not that many other opportunities. Fireworks, the fireworks night.
And the revenue growth for Parks and Rec has been terrific.
Yeah, they've been doing great.
Just other events.
So I've rattled on, budget request, I might as well, is that a separate line item? Or?
Yeah, go ahead.
Okay. We requested a budget increase for the coming fiscal year because I want to give our camera operators a pay increase. They have not had a pay increase in 4 years, and I want to give them a small pay increase. But we also have a whole bunch of money from Area 9 Cable Council that has been given to us to spend on videographers that we have not spent on videographers. So I think we're going to use some of that endowment to cover what will hopefully be another year of robust coverage. And my hope is, and I've already told our new first selectman, at some point in the next few years, it's going to be time for Jim Cameron to hang up his headphones. And I want them to
God forbid.
understand, I'm sorry?
God forbid.
I can only do so much, I had to come in this morning to run the shoot for the Board of Selectmen meeting at 8:30 because our camera operator got COVID last night on short notice. So I started the shoot and then Lisa came and retrieved me. Anyhow, I can't do this forever, and I recognize that. And I wanted Jay-Z to understand that when I retire, replacing me is going to be a half-time position. And he's going to have to start preparing mentally to budget that. So I have always made sure that we spend our entire budget. I have charged, I put hours on my own timesheet when I'm doing something that another camera operator would otherwise do. Because I want them to realize that, the donation of volunteer talent, ends with me, and we have to professionalize this job. So I've just kind of like planted that seed. I have no expectation it's going to be in 6 months, 3 years, whatever. I am recovering very nicely from my back surgery, and I hope to be as ambulatory as possible. And when that happens, I'm out of here. I'm going to be going on the extended vacations that my wife and I have deferred for the past 2 years. So, Lisa?
I've told Carrie this, if you're not number one, you're certainly in the top 3 of hours spent by volunteers over a 52-week period. There are crunch times that
Yeah.
different commissions for volunteers.
Yeah, except maybe
times.
for the Board of Education, because those people are just masochists. They meet so much of that. 14-hour days, things like that. Anyhow, I appreciate that, but I haven't done it as much for love as anything else. And it's been a gas, and I don't want to make it sound like it's past tense. It's still going, and we're still trying to improve and prepare. But I want to lay the groundwork for my eventual departure. Dave Deaver, God bless him, he started this thing with me 13, 14 years ago, and he's still with us. He could not be at the meeting this evening because he's got some pretty serious health problems as well too. So I ain't Charlie Osgood. You're not carrying me out of here with
91?
at age 91. I don't think so. Any questions? What's the last thing you've seen on TV79 that you thought was interesting?
Well, I watched the police blotter. I thought that was
Okay.
that was great.
Good.
What else did I see recently? The chat GBT discussion
Yeah.
by the Greenwich
From Greenwich
Men's
Men.
Association.
Yeah, I've got that on my list to listen to on the car
Yeah.
driving to
Yeah.
Rhode Island.
And then I always go back and watch some in town hall hosted by Jim Cameron
Oh.
because there's so many of them that I never saw, and now, thanks to the library, you can go and pull them up and catch up and.
I haven't done any recently, and I'd like to get back to doing some more of those because there's some personnel changes that are happening as well too.
Right.
And with the new administration,
When you did what?
Given the interest in Great Island, I had warned our former first select woman, Monica, who is now the chair of the Great Island Advisory
Right.
Committee. I said, you're next on the hit parade
Yeah.
as a guest on Inside Town Hall. People want to know what's going on. And she's kind of held me at bay, but she said, yeah, I probably will do that.
Yeah, and plus, you know, the walking tours of Great Island.
Yeah.
You know, I watched all that because I didn't get to go on the tour personally, so.
Those have done, I mean, even the bus tour that we shot,
Right.
which was not the best camera work, but, you know, whatever it was huge audience for those. So I'm convinced that, you know, the opening up of Great Island, and I was talking to Trevor earlier, the hope that's been expressed by Monica that in March, Great Island will be open to pedestrians and bicyclists. As they move forward with the widening of the road, the access road, and whatever else they're gonna do. The Great Island Advisory Committee is now talking about, you know, what kind of consultant to hire. And I think, we're digressing from, I'm offering opinions on Great Island, I don't think I should do that. But there's a lot of activity happening, you know, it's like a duck on the water. It looks so calm on the top, but the feet are moving down there, and decisions are gonna be made, you know, and I think it'll be of everybody's interest, because they're all wanting to get in there and take a look at it.
You started to say something? Yeah.
Oh, the Great Island? No.
No.
Oh, yeah, you watch the Inside Town Halls.
Yeah.
Yeah, and it-
Thank you.
There's-
yeah.
Where is that? Is it on the library?
When you go to the website,
Yeah.
across the top banner, I think there's a separate category for Inside Town Hall, or Community Matters. No, I think it's Inside Town Hall. And it's just a bunch of one-on-one interviews I've done over the past couple of years.
Oh, you did one probably 3 months ago with At Home in Darien?
Yeah, with the guy next door,
Yeah.
right? Chris Jones. Yeah, and they're all done on Zoom. I mean, we used to do them in 206
Right.
with the unflattering camera angles of, you know, sitting at the big table, but it just works so much better on Zoom. The picture quality is better, I just use speaker view, so whenever the guest starts to speak, they're there, and when I speak, it's like automatic switching. It's, and the fidelity and the color is much better as well, too.
Under new business, two things to talk about. One, last meeting, I think we talked about this study that was commissioned by the state legislature to study the current rate structure that cable operators can charge to subscribers that pay for a grant to TV79 and all the other government access channels, and those in towns that actually create original programming and have their own public interest channel. YouTube's kind of taken a lot of that business away, but the commission, so the question is, right now, Altice can only charge the $5 a year commission or franchise fee on your video package. So if you downgrade your video package to just broadband, there's no money that's allocated to
Pay access.
government access TV or public access TV. There has been talk in the legislature about amending that to add that fee to the revenue that they get for broadband, because the content is being delivered by broadband, and so they should pay for that. So so the legislature may be bringing it up in this session, maybe not until the next session of longer, about whether or not to either do away with the fee completely and leave it to the municipalities to fund their government access television, or expand what broadband supplier, and cable operators don't call themselves cable operators anymore, they're multi-platform video providers, whether or not they will then now have to kick in for the broadband revenue that they're getting from subscribers, which is the business that they're going to be in long-term. They're just another next generation of a telco. And also I sent to you, we've talked about artificial intelligence, and I ran across an interesting experiment that's going on that isn't right for us because we don't live in a news desert. We do have the Connecticut Examiner and the Darien Times and some local websites covering key meetings. But this was in Arlington, it's Arlington, Massachusetts, and it's, what they do is go into every YouTube meeting, create a transcript, the YouTube creates automatically, plug it into a ChatGPT type software to do a story about it. A human editor reviews the story, makes sure names are correct, obvious things are corrected, and then they post it on a website, and that's the extent of their local news is what's happening at the school board, what's happening at the planning and zoning, what's happening at the mayor's level or the board of selectmen's level, and what's happening in the police report. So it'll be interesting to see if others follow that model or use that model to be able to broaden their coverage using artificial intelligence with a human editor. But
How
Jimmy
are they
talked-
funded, do you know?
I think it's self-funding, I mean, the costs are negligible.
Yeah.
But, you talk about the quality of the people we get from Norwalk Community College. It would be an interesting job for a college student who wants to get into journalism, that, you're not gonna lose your job to artificial intelligence. You can lose your job to the person who knows more about artificial intelligence than you do. And it'd be an interesting, I would think would be an interesting activity for an interns or even a high school government class to have to proofread the transcripts and the stories that are generated from the transcripts and clean up any obvious mistakes and then post them for people to find out.
There used to be a civics class at Darien High School, half of the year, and they would assign students to watch TV79. I think they would sooner put bamboo sheets under their fingernails, but
I was thinking about when people were cutting across to get to the microphone to talk last night, the couple of meetings that we experimented with high school students who were gonna pass the mics to people so that no one would have to leave their seats, but the enthusiasm for students who wanted to attend a RTM meeting and pass microphones diminished rather rapidly.
well, are you keeping an eye on this legislative effort to reappraise the funding mechanisms for?
Representative Mara has been very good about following it. Her staff sent us the report the day after it was filed, and so she's got it on her radar to keep an eye on it.
I think that sounds like it's a Senator Duff committee, because isn't he on Pura or one of those public utilities?
It could be.
Type committees?
It could be. But on the artificial intelligence stuff, I have created summaries for some clerks of committees who have used sections of it for their minutes, because frankly, it's written very clearly. And as long as you have a human editor to fix the obvious things, it's really written very clearly, and you're gonna find out, because since Dennis isn't here, that's where the minutes are gonna come from for this meeting.
Well, that's what we're reading on the Arlington.
Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah, and that's all done by artificial intelligence with a human editor.
Yep. That was pretty good.
But when you have so many towns now that have no local journalism,
Yep.
this is a way that, as long as there's the government access television, you can now, with artificial intelligence, run text summaries with limited editorial input to keep people up to date on what's going on.
Do you know if those reports have generated more viewership of the videos themselves?
I don't know, and I don't think they do a very good job of giving credit to because they just give the YouTube link, they never mention the Arlington public government access television station.
Oh, I see.
They just give the link to the YouTube video, but they don't get, like, we get credit from the Connecticut Examiner and the Darien
Yes,
Times
sir, I remind them of
when they use, and they do a pretty good job.
They do.
They do a pretty good job.
And sometimes Patch has actually been better in terms of linking back to our original videos as well, too. Darien, I wish I knew what was going on with Darien. That site has such potential and has never really been achieved.
So I assume our viewership in the next 3 months is usually about, that's the highest it is during budget
Yeah.
time. And there are gonna be some very important budget decisions and discussions in the next 3 months that both on the Board of Education side and on the town side that I think are gonna get a lot of interest.
Yeah.
Anything else anyone has to bring up?
Did you see in the paper that Jersey City, New Jersey gave the vote to the 16-year-olds to vote for the Board of Education representatives?
Wow. That's
I
it.
thought that was kind of cool.
Yeah, that'll be interesting to see what they come up with.
It's the largest city in New Jersey, and they've given the 16-year-olds the vote.
What was the town that Zuckerberg gave $100 million to? Was that Newark or Jersey City?
I didn't know.
I can't remember.
Yeah.
I'll have to take a look at that.
Yeah.
Anybody else have anything?
Anything else, Carrie?
Yeah.
Do I have a motion to adjourn?
So moved.
All in favor?
Thank you.
Thank you, Trevor.